Hey friends, welcome back. My name is Jason and I am here with my friends and we are discussing the next pandemic, what we think it's going to be and what that means for us when it happens. I personally think that our nation, maybe even the world, I don't know how widespread it's going to be, is going to be overwhelmed with a deadly virus that increases everyone's restless leg syndrome to a point of uncontrollable activities with their legs. It's going to be bad.
I'm experiencing that right now.
You're not going to be able to drive. Think about that. I mean, what are you going to do?
Oh, wow.
Well, the last one was respiratory failure.
Right.
So I'm thinking it's going to be circulatory.
Circulatory failure.
Circulatory failure.
Okay. I like
Or maybe,
it.
but I really like your idea.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Auditory failure.
Auditory failure.
Everybody's earwax starts
Yeah.
to harden to the consistency of concrete and you can't get it out.
Yes.
So do your eardrums like explode and then they metastasize?
Violently explode.
Did they do a movie about that on Netflix?
Okay, so the result of this is not only can you not hear
Yeah.
well or at all,
Yeah.
communication's messed up,
Yeah.
right?
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium's messed
Yeah.
up.
Bad.
Yeah. That's a
Headaches are probably horrible, so they come up with a headache vaccine.
A headache,
Headache
vaccine that you are required to take.
The thing is,
Stop the curve.
but
Yeah.
it's going to occur naturally,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
It would not come out of a lab
Yeah.
in Mongolia this time.
Well, it comes from Asia where they have the meat markets, you know, and the bat just happened to fly over.
Yeah, the pig, swine,
the roasted duck.
the ducks,
and mixed
the bats,
DNA and
snakes.
it makes sense as long as you don't think about it. Yeah. So honestly, though, so next pandemic. So if we're on that subject of we're trying to be a little bit more serious, there's probably going to be another one. We don't know when, but
Well, they keep telling us.
they're saying it's going to happen. So regardless of what that pandemic is or what it actually looks like or if it really exists at all, what do you think? Do you think people have learned from the first one to a point where they're not going to be as affected by it? So, like, for example, me personally, personal story here. When COVID first started coming out, I was like, wait a second, like, easy now. What's going on? Like, people are saying shelter in place. Like, there's a pandemic.
Masks.
Yeah.
Masks.
I was like, hold on, like, easy. So I was at first like, wait a minute, like, what's going on here? And then pretty early on, I realized that this is pretty silly. This is pretty silly. I'm just going to continue on my life as usual. Nothing changed for me after the first couple weeks, whatever it was. I don't know about your story. What was different about?
Well, I was
that
a first responder when it happened, and I can tell you, as a first responder, and all first responders and doctors are going to agree with me. So, one of these typical masks that they tell you to buy is only 40 microns.
It's
Now,
not effective.
It's not effective because the virus is 0.004 microns.
That's crazy.
So how many viruses can you fit through one hole of the mask? Not to mention if you're wearing it below your nose.
Yeah, which everybody does.
Which everybody does.
Yeah.
If you have a beard,
Well,
you don't have like a full seal.
yeah, I think
Right.
most people with a brain have come to the conclusion that the masks are stupid.
The 6 foot rule was stupid.
Yes. Yes,
Very
very
dumb.
stupid.
And the
6
remnants
feet
of
apart.
the stickers
I
that
say
are still on the
I
freaking
think-
floors of the restaurants
Yeah.
that say 6 feet
6
apart.
feet
That
apart.
you're reminded even now.
Yeah. But anyway, back on task. We can all agree that a lot of things that happened during the COVID fiasco was stupid. We can all agree upon that, I think. Most of you watching can probably agree with that. The next one, though. What have we learned? How are we going to adapt to the next one? How is it going to affect our lives? Is there going to be a real one? Like, you know, is there going to be the Black Plague that sweeps the nation and
Yeah, like
legitimately people, like half the population is getting wiped out from this thing?
I think they would have to bring their A game because we've already been desensitized to the last
We're not going to be
effort.
fooled again.
We're not going to be
At least
fooled.
most people. Yeah.
I think the majority.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment.
But you got to be careful too, because you don't want to lean too far one way and it actually be legit.
That's true.
Right?
Yep.
It's like the boy that cried wolf, right?
Right.
Like, there's a pandemic, everybody freak out, everybody's shelter in place, and then it's like, it's nothing, and then suddenly
Something that
it's
is
something that you should probably hang tight at
The
home
X
for a
factor
bit.
they didn't plan for.
Yeah, I don't know. I obviously I'm hopeful that it's not going to be something that is extreme, where it's literally wiping out a large percentage of the population. I hope that's not going to happen, but it's definitely a possibility. I don't know enough about the science behind that kind of stuff, new plagues and new like
History
I
and
don't
cycles
I don't
and
know
all
how
that.
that
Old
stuff
Petri
happens.
dish, man.
us
Yeah.
getting used to taking certain drugs and building up
Tolerances. That's
to
right.
that.
Yeah.
I almost feel like, what if that would be a play? Like if there was a shortage of a very
The drug
needed
that was
drug,
needed.
and that was
That could be
it more.
a very
It was
real
more of an
possibility.
economic thing than a true
Yeah.
like
Then
sickness thing.
they genuinely are having to force something through
Right.
because
Yeah.
the wrong people are dying.
Yeah. Nowadays, I'm just so untrusting of
Oh, man.
everyone. I don't trust anything like anything bigger than like a mom and pop establishment. I don't trust it. Like it's
Yeah,
like
because you don't know who to listen to.
yeah, it's all
Right.
lies, right? It doesn't matter which side you're listening to.
A lot of it's not based on fact
definitely not.
either.
Yeah,
right?
it's just
they're presenting the information as facts, but it's not.
and popular opinion gets presented as fact, and it's
Yeah.
not. Like I don't
It's
know.
propaganda, man.
It sure is.
There would be many arms of this going at the same time,
Yeah.
right? It's not just the actual event that took place. It's all of the things that are surrounding the event itself, the media.
Right.
For
And
one.
some people are legitimately trying to deliver quality information to help people, and then some people are just trying to spin it in a way that benefits them.
And there's a lot
Yeah.
of copy paste, disinformation, misinformation.
Disinformation. What's
I mean,
the
that's
difference?
why they have
Hold
the
on a
people that
second.
handle that on Instagram for you.
What is the difference between disinformation and misinformation? Because they sound the same to me.
Well, we have Google.
We have Google.
Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
Let's look it up.
What's the difference?
Yeah, let's
In the comment section, tell me what you
our
think the
audience
difference is.
An actual answer.
The difference
What's
between
the
miss
difference?
and dis. I don't think
So
there is
while
a difference.
he's doing that
think
though,
it's stupid.
we can agree that the information has been manipulated and it's
100%.
also been changed,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
Which I think
Most
that-
recently, they said that now it's official that we can treat COVID like the flu. Now we can do that. We
I
have
wouldn't
permission.
even put it on the level of flu.
No, I wouldn't either. Yeah,
No.
but we have permission
Okay.
now to do so. Just so
Okay,
you're
this
aware.
makes sense.
Okay, give it to me.
Misinformation is false or inaccurate information, getting the facts wrong. So you just
You're just
didn't-
wrong.
You just did not do it correct, say it correctly, or that's misinformation. So it's
Misinformation.
information that has been misinformed.
Okay.
Disinformation is false information, which is deliberately intended to mislead.
Got it.
Bam.
One's intentional and one is
Intentionally-
not.
Intentional and not intentional.
This is intentional.
This is intentional.
And now we
Nefarious.
know as if it mattered.
So
Sorry to waste about
now
3
I
minutes of
understand
your
what it
time.
means. What that means.
It wasn't a waste of time.
So that's what a diss track is.
Always do your own fact checking.
Nailed it.
Did it break it?
No.
You scared him. He gave it back to you.
I would be more on the side of just being like, it's nothing. I would be definitely more on that bias of saying, it's probably nothing. I'm just going to live my life the way I would until I'm shown otherwise, until I see people dropping in the streets kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. You can chime in on that.
Well, I firmly believe that nature always wins. All right, so regardless of whatever they had planned, let's say something serious did happen, which is clearly shown in history,
Oh yeah.
right? So I think the chances of the X factor happening are higher than they will give it credit for,
Right.
right? And I think that would put them at a surprise because a lot of stuff that's happened just in American history of the last 240, 250 years, we've had to create the SOP based on the emergency itself, like
Right.
Katrina,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
example. That changed the whole face.
And now we know how to hopefully
Hopefully
a
deal
little
with the
better
next
idea
one.
of
How
how
to
to solve
respond
that
anyway.
problem.
School shootings, whatever it is, whenever we have something major like that happen, it seems like we're always a step behind. And I think that would be a telltale sign of whether it was planned or not,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Now, I think if they did plan something, though, I'm not so sure that we would know what it was. I think it might even be something a little bit different so that we were compliant.
Perhaps.
And they probably have, from this experiment, if you will, figured out a lot of
They've learned.
parameters.
They've learned, yeah.
as well.
How
Yeah.
people will respond.
Yeah.
Some people will lose their minds. Right. And just go,
Some people will follow the leader.
yep. Yep. And then some people will be like us and not really do
Yeah,
anything
being
differently.
different.
What is the pearl of wisdom here? That you should be self-reliant. You should always be training.
You should
always be
always
preparing.
you should always have a prepared mindset.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, I guess what I learned from it, and I guess my family learned from it from anything else, like when the whole, like, I guess let's go to like starting stages, right? So it just started off as a information, and then people freaked out and hit the stores, right?
Right.
So like, you know,
They bum rush the CVS. And,
keeping a stockpile of consumables that you know, such as paper products, and
You
trying
need more
to keep
than 3
your-
days.
Yeah, you need more than your weekly trip to the grocery store.
Well,
you know?
because sheltering in place, let's say you didn't even care about the pandemic, you just don't want to be out there with all the crazies.
Exactly.
Like that's what
Yeah.
you're sheltering
Well, that's
from,
what a lot of us
is the
did at
crazies.
the
Yeah.
onset of it.
Do you
So,
have
like-
what you need to be able to do that?
Yeah, and I mean, I thought I did,
Mm-hmm.
right? I thought we had plenty, and it ran out quicker than expected,
Right.
so it was like a good test. You
Sure.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we've, you
A
know,
litmus test. for it.
we've increased that and tried to keep that, you know, and cycle through it, you know, properly. And so I mean, you know, that's helping. I'm hoping others figured that out, because
Right.
that's not, it's no different than the snow in the South, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Milk sandwiches.
Milk sandwiches, dude.
Yeah.
Like everything, like people go absolutely bonkers.
Snowpocalypse,
Crazy.
like 2
Hit the
inches of snow.
stores
Yeah.
and take everything, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And I mean, I get it. Us Southerners can't drive in the snow and ice, okay?
Shut up.
But you know, that's a thing.
Yeah,
you know,
it
and
is a
so
thing.
people do freak
you don't
out.
have
And
any
the first
snow
thing
chains.
is to go
You don't have
consume,
any snow
consume,
chains on your
consume.
car.
Especially in our country, like we're consumers, mad
Big
consumers,
time.
Right.
and when everybody's consuming at once, it's not good.
Right.
It's
I
not
think
good.
Same
another
things,
thing too,
yeah.
to your point, because people look in their pantries and they think that looks like a lot of food, but they haven't done plans.
Yeah.
How long is it really going to
How many
last?
people are in your family?
Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
your neighbor? Or you gave something to somebody, you had to help somebody out,
Yeah.
whatever. in
Or
your
it's at the
family.
back of the shelf and it's old.
It's
And
expired.
you shouldn't be messing with it anymore, but
You're
did not
missing the
realize that.
one ingredient that you need to make the whatever it was that you were
Yeah.
going to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. All right. Anything else, guys, that we learned from the previous pandemic?
I would say, yeah, because a big one that I noticed is people were, when I talk to people about gathering intel or information, don't just get it from one source,
Right.
and don't just listen to a set of sources that are on your
That
side,
already agree with you.
that already agree
Yeah,
with
yeah,
you.
yeah.
You need perspective,
Yeah.
and you need to see what, I hate to say this, but whatever the enemy is saying,
Right.
right? You still need to pay attention to what they're saying, because that's giving you information that you can create a
Yeah.
formula so
Yeah.
you can
So you can be open-minded.
extrapolate.
Right. Because you need to be willing to admit that you could be wrong.
Yep.
Right.
But early on, that's hard to determine
Sure.
because both sides are trying to figure it out.
Because nobody
right?
knows.
Because remember in the beginning how every news station
Yeah.
and everything, they were literally reading the same
Right.
thing until people started getting wise.
Yeah,
So
they
it
even
took a
made
couple
videos
weeks.
of it making fun of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even early on, it's hard to tell. You have to rely on just disconnecting and letting it get to a point where then you can discern what's going on.
Stop, think, observe, make your plan.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because you could screw up by knee jerking one direction
Right.
early on and put you in.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Assess the situation. Think it through. Make a good decision.
Especially
Yeah.
if you're relying on information.
Exactly.
When the government tells you to be calm, that's when you freak out.
I'm
We're
from the
here to
government
save
and I'm
you.
here to help
Help you.
Are you? Yeah, that's right. Dangerous. Okay, so guys, I'd like to hear what you think about this subject in the comment section. Make sure you chime in, please. It really helps the videos out, and I appreciate that very much. So in the comment section, tell us something that you learned from our previous 2020 situation, and maybe something that you will you might do different, maybe doing different on the next time around, because it's inevitable there's going to be a next time around, it seems like. And I'd be grateful for those comments. So hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I cannot wait to see you on the next one.
I'm Brandon Kern, also known as Kern 1776, and the guy on all the Battle Box videos. And I'm out here hanging out with two really cool guys in the woods. So you can find me on social media, Kern 1776, or Battle Box with no E, because we don't know how to spell Battle Box.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
JJ Morris. I'm with Fuel the Fires. You can catch me with Survival Dispatch and Wazoo.
Wazoo.
Awesome.
I'm all over the place.
Thanks, guys.